firestorm begins, the black void of space was silent, cold, and endless. But near the burned world of Edron 4, that silence was broken by the roar of alien cannons. Blue plasma bolts crossed the darkness like angry suns. Entire formations of the Zerath Dominion fleet surrounded one small human ship, a single cruiser called Vanguard. Every alien commander believed this battle would be over in seconds. The human ship was old, damaged, and outnumbered by more than 1,000 to 1. The Dominion had conquered many worlds. They had crushed rebellions, erased colonies, and burned planets to ash. They thought humans would be no different. On the command deck of the flagship Vorketh, Admiral Slythe watched the target through the holoscreen. His long claws tapped the console. "Begin the broadcast," he ordered. His voice was full of arrogance and pride. "Let the galaxy watch the end of the human race." Lights blinked and thousands of alien channels went live. Billions of beings across the stars tuned in. They wanted to see the last Terran warship die. The plasma cannons charged, glowing bright blue, ready to erase the ship from existence. Inside the human cruiser, there was only calm. No movement, no panic. Commander Ryland sat in the captain's chair, silent, eyes fixed on the main screen. The ship's AI, a soft female voice named Sentinel, spoke quietly. "Incoming energy signatures detected. 1,200 plasma cannons aimed at our position." Ryland's expression didn't change. His voice was calm, almost emotionless. "Shields up." The first wave of plasma fire hit. It was like the stars themselves exploded. The Vanguard vanished inside a storm of blue light. Shockwaves rolled across the void. The nearby asteroids melted from the heat. On the alien command bridge, Admiral Slythe laughed. "It's done," he hissed. "Humans fall like dust," but then something strange happened. The light faded. The smoke cleared. The human ship was still there, not damaged, not broken, just floating quietly. Gasps filled the alien control rooms. Sensors blinked with warnings. One officer shouted, "Admiral, our readings show. No impact, no damage at all." Slythe turned sharply. "Impossible." "Fire again." A second volley of plasma struck. A third, a fourth. The air trembled with the power of 10 suns. But still the human ship didn't move. Its black armor glowed faint red, like iron warmed by a campfire. Nothing more. Inside the Vanguard, Ryland's hands rested on the console. Sentinel spoke again, her voice calm and steady. "Shields holding at 100%. Enemy energy ineffective," Ryland said softly. "They still don't understand." He looked out the window. The plasma storms painted space blue and red. It was almost beautiful. A dance of death that failed to touch him. He could imagine the panic spreading through the alien fleet, the fear in their eyes. He had seen it before, centuries ago, recorded in old Terran wars. "Commander," Sentinel said, "alien communication channels are open. They are broadcasting your destruction live." Ryland smiled faintly. "Then let them watch." Suddenly the plasma fire stopped. Silence returned. The alien fleet hesitated. Their sensors couldn't explain what had just happened. Admiral Slythe stared at the holoscreen, his pupils shrinking in disbelief. "What kind of armor is that?" he growled. "No material can resist plasma at that level." Another officer whispered, "Sir, what if it's not armor? What if it's something else?" Before Slythe could answer, a voice came through every open frequency, calm, deep, and human. "Is that all you've got?" Every alien froze. That voice wasn't just on their comms. It was inside their ships, echoing through the metal walls carried by the humans' unknown technology. Slythe's hands trembled. "Trace that signal," he shouted. "Find them. Destroy them." But the computers only returned static. The human ship began to glow faintly with golden lines tracing across its hull. Old Terran markings, symbols of Earth's ancient fleets. The Dominion officers didn't recognize them, but their ancestors would have. They were the marks of humanity's war engines, the ones that had once burned empires to dust. One alien crew member whispered in fear, "The Terrans. They're back." On the Vanguard, Ryland stood slowly. The cabin lights dimmed as Sentinel spoke again. "Commander, shall I return fire?" He paused. The universe around him felt small, fragile. "Not yet," he said quietly. "Let them understand what fear feels like." He turned toward the window where hundreds of alien ships surrounded him like a steel ocean. Plasma energy still shimmered in the void, but it no longer felt threatening. It felt weak. The Vanguard didn't fire a single shot that day. It didn't need to. The message was already sent, loud and clear across every frequency in the galaxy. One human, one ship, still standing. And somewhere deep inside that silent cruiser, the ancient war machine of Earth began to wake. Its systems came online one by one, whispering in a language long forgotten. Commander Ryland's eyes glowed faintly with the ship's reflection. "Prepare the counterstrike," he said softly. Sentinel replied, "Acknowledged. Retaliation protocol standing by." Outside, the alien fleet began to retreat, their courage melting away like ice in the sun. None dared to fire again, because they had just seen the impossible. They had fired plasma, and the human didn't even flinch. Fear spreads through the fleet. The silence after the attack felt heavier than the plasma fire itself. Every alien commander stared at the dark human ship on their screens, glowing faintly under the wreckage light. No smoke, no damage, no movement. Inside the flagship Vorketh, Admiral Slythe's scaled hands trembled. His mouth was dry. The hum of machines filled the air. The room stank of fear. His officers whispered, afraid to even raise their voices. "Run another scan," he barked. The scanners flickered. Lines of alien text rolled across the hollow display. "Admiral," said one officer, his voice shaking, "our readings make no sense. That ship isn't reflecting energy, it's absorbing it." Slythe's eyes widened. Absorbing plasma? He slammed his fist on the console. That's impossible. But impossible was happening right in front of them. The Vanguard floated there calm and still, as if it were alive, as if it were watching. Across the Dominion fleet, messages started to flow between ships. Officers whispered to one another over secure channels. It didn't move. They hit it with everything. The human didn't even blink. Within minutes, fear spread like wildfire. The broadcast that was meant to show human defeat had become a nightmare for the galaxy. Millions of alien citizens were watching, realizing something unthinkable. Humanity wasn't extinct. Humanity was back. On the Vanguard, Commander Ryland stood at the viewing deck. The stars reflected in his eyes like cold fire. The AI sentinel spoke softly behind him. "Enemy fleet is showing signs of retreat. Communication networks in chaos." Ryland's tone remained calm. "Good, let them talk. Fear is faster than any weapon." He walked slowly across the bridge, his boots echoing against the metal floor. The dim lights of the control room flickered as the ship's systems powered up further. Ancient codes awakened inside the core, systems older than the current galactic age. Sentinel continued, "I am detecting long-range transmissions from the Galactic Council." "They are observing us, Commander." Ryland smiled faintly. "They should. They're the ones who tried to erase Earth." Suddenly, red alerts blinked across the Dominion ships. A new wave of orders came from the Central Fleet Command. Admiral Slyth looked up in disbelief. "The Council demands we destroy the human vessel completely," he hissed. "They want no witnesses." He stood tall, forcing courage into his voice. "All ships prepare full charge. Focus fire on that target until it ceases to exist." The entire fleet of thousands aligned again. Plasma cores heated, glowing brighter than suns. Space shimmered with deadly light. Inside the human ship, Sentinel reported calmly, "They're charging everything they have, Commander." Ryland didn't move. His eyes stayed on the screen. "Let them." A heartbeat passed. Then the universe turned white. The plasma storm was so powerful it distorted gravity. Waves of energy spread for millions of kilometers, shaking asteroids into dust. Even planets trembled in the distance. When the light faded, every alien stared at their screens. And again they saw it. The human ship, untouched, not even a scratch. Slyth's mind cracked under the truth. "No, no weapon can do this," he whispered. His claws dug into his control panel. "What are these humans?" The bridge was filled with static. But through the noise, a human voice came again. The same cold, calm voice that now haunted every living alien watching the broadcast. "I gave you a chance to stop." The sound made every alien freeze. It wasn't just heard. It was felt. The voice echoed inside their heads, resonating through ship hulls, through bones, through the metal itself. The Vanguard's lights glowed red now, pulsing with energy. Sentinel's voice followed. "Retaliation protocol active. Confirm engagement?" Ryland looked toward the endless wall of enemy ships. His voice was low, steady. "Confirmed." The Vanguard began to move, but not like a normal ship. It vanished from one spot and reappeared thousands of meters away, flickering through light and space. Every alien scanner screamed warnings. They couldn't track it. They couldn't even see it properly. "Target lost," shouted one Dominion officer. "Reacquire visual." "It's behind us." Before he could finish, the Vanguard passed through 3 Zerath cruisers. No weapons fired, no explosions seen. But seconds later, those ships simply collapsed, their hulls sliced cleanly, as if the universe itself had folded through them. Slith's heart raced. "Retreat," he shouted. "All ships retreat now." But it was too late. Across the Dominion Armada, systems began to fail. Engines shut down. Weapons refused to fire. Plasma reactors melted into slag. The entire fleet turned into floating metal corpses drifting helplessly in the dark. On the Vanguard, Sentinel announced, "Enemy energy systems neutralized. Fleet at 0 operational capacity." Ryland didn't answer. He was staring at one signal still active, Admiral Slith's flagship. The alien admiral's face filled the human screen, sweat dripping down his scaled forehead. "Who are you?" Slith gasped. "What are you?" Ryland stepped closer, shadows crossing his face. His words came like thunder. "I am from Earth." The signal cut. A deep silence fell once again over the stars. The galaxy had just witnessed something that defied every law of physics, every known weapon, every fear. The Vanguard drifted slowly through the wreckage. The AI's tone softened. "Commander, long-range transmissions detected. The Galactic Council is now on high alert." Ryland nodded. "They should be," he said quietly, because this was just a warning. The stars around him flickered as the ship entered stealth mode, disappearing into the void. And across the galaxy, whispers began. Stories of the human who couldn't be killed, of the ship that devoured plasma, and of the vengeance of Earth. The Vanguard was now a myth, a ghost in the dark, and for the first time in centuries, the galaxy remembered what it meant to fear humanity. The counterstrike, the wreckage of the Zerath fleet, drifted like ghosts through the cold darkness. Thousands of broken ships floated silently, their lights dead, their crews gone. The battle was over. But for Commander Ryland, it had only just begun. Inside the human cruiser Vanguard, the air was calm, quiet, too quiet. Red lines of energy pulsed across the floor, running through the walls like veins carrying fire. The AI Sentinel broke the silence. "Commander, enemy fleet annihilated. Remaining signatures indicate emergency beacons. Some survivors detected." Ryland stood by the viewing window, his hands behind his back. His reflection stared back at him, human eyes but colder than steel. "They will call for help," he said softly. "Yes," Sentinel replied. "And the entire Dominion will come." Ryland nodded. "Good, let them come." The AI hesitated, her tone softer. "Are you sure, Commander? The Council itself may intervene. Their main fleet numbers in the millions." Ryland looked out at the endless dark. "Then we show them what a single human can do." Outside, the stars began to tremble, not from movement but from something deeper. The Vanguard systems were awakening one by one. Deep within its core, a giant reactor pulsed, the heart of an ancient Terran weapon system. Project Aegis. The ship was never built for defense. It was built for vengeance. Far away in the Dominion's central system, panic spread through the command halls. Hollow screens showed static images of the destroyed fleet. Scientists argued, priests prayed, admirals shouted. None could explain it. "It absorbed plasma," one general shouted. "Our strongest weapon did nothing." Another screamed, "That ship moved faster than sensors could record." And then the most feared voice of all, and the High Chancellor of the Galactic Council, spoke coldly. "If humans truly survived, we must erase them again, this time completely." He raised a clawed hand. "Summon the Dominion core fleet. Burn whatever world that ship came from." Back on the Vanguard, Sentinel detected new movement. "Commander, hyperspace ripples detected. Multiple fleets incoming and 10,000 warships." Ryland smiled faintly. That didn't take long. The ship's lights dimmed to black. Systems began to hum, deep and powerful, like the growl of an ancient beast. "Sentinel," Ryland said quietly. "Activate Phantom Drive." "Warning," the AI replied. "Activating Phantom Drive will exceed safe parameters. Reality distortion is unpredictable." He looked at the stars one last time. "Do it!" A low vibration filled the ship. Space bent around the Vanguard. The stars stretched into streaks of light. Then, with a silent flash, the ship vanished. For a few seconds, there was nothing. Then, it reappeared behind the Dominion armada. The aliens never saw it coming. One moment, their radars were clear. The next, alarms screamed across every ship. "Unknown contact detected!" "It's behind us." "Impossible." Before they could turn, a blinding pulse of red energy exploded from the Vanguard. Not plasma, not lasers, something older, something purer. Kinetic rounds, solid rods of metal traveling at near light speed, tore through hundreds of ships in seconds. No explosions, no light, just silent, clean destruction. Each round passed through multiple hulls, cutting through armor like paper. The alien fleet fell apart before it could even react. Inside their flagship, the Dominion commander screamed, "Counterfire! Return fire!" Plasma cannons roared. But the beams twisted in mid-air, bending away from their target. The Vanguard's shield warped reality itself, making physics obey human will. "Enemy weapons neutralized," Sentinel announced. Ryland stepped forward, eyes fixed on the fleet burning in silence. "Target their command ship." The Vanguard's front cannons charged, glowing deep crimson. The air inside the ship vibrated with energy. "Weapon ready," Sentinel said. Fire, a single beam left the human ship. No sound, no flash, just a ripple in space. When it reached the Dominion flagship, and it vanished. Then, a second later, the alien ship was gone too. Not destroyed, erased. Every sensor in the fleet blinked red. Ships began to drift. Communications broke. Even light refused to touch the area where the flagship had been. It was as if reality itself had given up trying to remember it. Back on the Vanguard, Ryland stood in silence. His breathing steady, his heartbeat slow. "One fleet down," he said softly. 9,000 remaining," Sentinel responded. "Humanity never built this ship to win wars, Commander. It was built to end them." Ryland's eyes hardened. "Then let's remind them why they feared us." The Vanguard moved again, a blur of motion faster than thought. Every jump left behind echoes of blue fire. Every strike cut through legions. The aliens fought back with everything they had, but their plasma, their missiles, their shield, all failed. Within minutes, half the Dominion fleet was gone. The rest scattered in terror, fleeing in every direction. Some even fired on each other in confusion. "They're running," Sentinel said. "Let them," Ryland replied. "Fear spreads faster than death." When the battle finally ended, silence ruled the stars again. Wreckage glowed like dying suns. The Vanguard floated among them untouched. Ryland opened a secure communication line, not to the aliens, but to the galaxy. His voice was transmitted across every open frequency, every world, every listening ear. "To all who remember Earth," he said, "we never died. We never surrendered. You wanted to erase humanity from history, but we are the history. And your age of dominance ends tonight." The transmission ended. For a long time, the galaxy stayed silent. Then, one by one, alien fleets began pulling back from human space. Worlds once conquered by the Dominion whispered the same words. "They're back." The legend of the Vanguard spread faster than light. Some said it was one man. Others said it was the ghost of all humans combined. None knew the truth, but every species now feared the same thing, if this was one ship. How many more were waiting? The memory of Earth. The stars were quiet again, but the silence felt heavier than ever. Broken ships floated across the dark, glowing faintly from their last moments. The Dominion fleets were gone, erased, shattered, humiliated. Inside the human warship Vanguard, the lights dimmed to a warm blue. Systems cooled. The sound of machinery slowly faded. Only one man remained awake, Commander Ryland, staring at the endless black through the glass. The AI voice of Sentinel echoed softly, almost like a whisper. "All enemy ships destroyed. Galaxy-wide transmissions intercepted. They are calling you the ghost of Earth." Ryland didn't smile. He didn't answer. His reflection looked tired, haunted. "They should fear ghosts," he said quietly. "Because ghosts remember." He closed his eyes for a moment. Memories flickered, not his, but memories implanted deep inside his neural core. Images of burning cities, oceans boiling, children crying under a red sky, humanity's final war. Centuries ago, the Galactic Council had feared humanity's rise. Humans grew too fast, too strong, too unpredictable. They didn't follow the laws of the galaxy. They broke them and made new ones. So the Council united every alien empire under one command, the Purge Alliance. They unleashed everything they had: plasma storms, virus bombs, antimatter strikes. Earth burned for 7 days. And when it was done, the galaxy thought the humans were gone forever. But they were wrong. Before the final strike, a small group of human scientists and soldiers built something in secret, Project Dawn. They created 10 hidden warships, each carrying fragments of human knowledge, DNA, and emotion. Each ship housed an AI designed to protect and one human prototype meant to command it. Half flesh, half machine. 9 ships were lost. 1 survived. The Vanguard. Inside the ship's deep core, hidden chambers opened one by one. Rylan walked through the glowing corridors, guided by Sentinel's holographic form. She appeared beside him, a figure of light shaped like a woman, eyes filled with calm intelligence. "Commander," she said softly, "your memories are returning faster than predicted. It may cause instability." Rylan's voice was steady. "Let them return. I need to remember who I am." As he walked deeper, the walls around him shimmered, showing old recordings, fragments of Earth before the fall. Green fields, blue skies, cities shining with light, children playing, soldiers saluting under the Terran flag. "They thought they could erase us," Rylan whispered. "But they only buried the fire. And fire always finds air." Sentinel turned her gaze to him. "The Galactic Council is in panic. They are mobilizing their full defense fleets. The Dominion has declared emergency law. The galaxy now believes the humans are preparing to return." Rylan stopped walking. "They're right." Meanwhile, across the galaxy, chaos spread. On distant worlds, people gathered around screens showing the Vanguard's silhouette. One ship that had defeated entire armadas. Merchants, soldiers, even rulers whispered the same thing. If humans are still alive, who will they come for next? In the great chambers of the Galactic Council, 12 alien leaders argued in fear. "We cannot fight that thing. Find its origin. Destroy the system it came from." Then the High Chancellor slammed his hand down. "Silence. If Earth's weapon still exists, we end it now. Track the energy signature. Bring me its coordinates." As the Council shouted, none of them noticed one shadow moving through the hall, a hooded figure with human eyes. Back aboard the Vanguard, Rylan stood before a sealed door labeled Memory Vault. Sentinel's voice grew softer. "Inside lies the complete history of Earth's final hours. Are you sure you want to see it?" Rylan placed his hand on the scanner. The door opened with a hiss. Inside, holograms lit up, thousands of faces. Soldiers, doctors, children, families, all speaking at once in overlapping whispers like ghosts calling through time. "To whoever finds this, remember us. Earth stands even when it burns. We are humanity. We endure." Rylan felt his chest tighten. He reached out as the holograms faded, leaving only one recording. A message from Admiral Thorne, the man who built the Vanguard. "If you're seeing this, Commander, it means the galaxy still fears us. Good. Let them, because fear keeps them honest. You are not here to conquer. You are here to remind them what we are capable of. Never fire first, but never forgive betrayal." The recording ended. Rylan closed his eyes. For the first time, he felt something human. Pain. "Sentinel," he said quietly. "The galaxy forgot who we were. It's time to remind them what humanity means." The AI nodded. "Then we activate the signal?" He looked out the window where the stars stretched endless and cold. "Yes, wake the others." All across the galaxy, ancient Terran satellites, long thought dead, began to power up. Buried deep under forgotten moons, hidden machines came online. The galaxy trembled as old signals whispered through the void. Project Dawn, Phase 2 initiated. In distant systems, deep inside asteroids and derelict stations, other lights began to glow. One by one, the remaining human warships started to awaken from centuries of sleep. The Vanguard stood at the center of it all, humming with new energy. Sentinel's voice filled the room. Multiple Terran signatures confirmed. Project Dawn is reactivating. Rylan stared at the star map where dozens of red dots appeared, one after another. "They thought we were gone," he whispered. "But humanity was never defeated. We were only waiting." He clenched his fist. "Now the galaxy will remember the day the humans returned." Outside, the stars seemed to shiver. Far away, The largest armada in galactic history began to move toward the human coordinates. The final war was coming, and in the middle of it, one silent ship, one calm human and one AI with a single mission, to make the galaxy remember Earth's vengeance. The human who didn't flinch, the galaxy had gone silent. Every species, every empire, every council hall, waiting, watching, terrified. For the first time in 1,000 years, the stars themselves felt cold. Far above a dying sun, the vanguard stood alone, black against the light, calm as a sleeping god. Around it, the darkness rippled with faint red signals. One after another, the other Terran warships came online. 10 ships had been built before Earth fell. Now 7 answered the call. They were ancient, unstoppable, and alive. Inside the vanguard, Commander Rylan stood before the holographic star map. Red dots glowed across the galaxy, each one a human warship waking from its tomb. The AI Sentinel reported quietly. Project Dawn fully active. 7 warships operational. Each carries Earth's legacy. Rylan nodded slowly. And the enemy? The Galactic Council has united every remaining empire. 2 million ships moving toward our location. For a moment, silence filled the bridge. Even the hum of engines seemed to fade. Then Rylan spoke, his voice calm, cold, and absolute. Good. Let them come. The gathering storm hours later, the stars around the vanguard filled with lights, alien fleets from every known world. Their combined power could destroy planets, tear moons apart, even bend gravity. Admiral Slith, now scarred and half-mad from fear, stood aboard the lead flagship of the Dominion fleet. His voice trembled as he addressed his officers. They are not gods. They bleed like us.
Fire everything we have!
Millions of plasma cannons charged. The entire sky lit up like a burning ocean. Inside the vanguard, Sentinel whispered, 2 million ships targeting us. Plasma overload incoming. Rylan's heartbeat didn't change. Activate Aegis protocol. A deep vibration ran through the ship. The armor shimmered and a golden sphere surrounded the vanguard. The light from the plasma barrage hit it and then vanished. The entire galaxy watched the impossible happen again. 2 million ships firing and 1 human vessel standing untouched. Admiral Slith screamed, "Increase fire! All power to weapons!" But his own ship began to melt from the heat of its weapons. Energy bounced back. Engines collapsed. Systems burned. Within minutes, thousands of alien ships were destroyed. Not by the human ship's guns, but by their own, the voice of humanity. Then a transmission echoed through every ship, every world, every system. A human voice went calm, deep, and filled with quiet power. This is Commander Rylan of Earth. You brought war to my home once. You erased our world. You burned our skies. Now you face what you created. The galaxy froze. Every being stopped breathing. We offered peace once. You answered with fire. We offered mercy. You gave us silence. Now we give you memory. Rylan raised his hand and the vanguard system surged. Sentinel. Execute Dawn. The wrath of Earth space itself bent. Light fractured. The 7 Terran ships aligned into a formation unseen for centuries. The halo pattern. Energy rippled between them, forming a massive ring glowing with red-white fire. Sentinel's voice deepened, merging with the ship. Weapon charge complete. Firing sequence initiated. A blinding beam erupted from the circle, not destroying matter, but rewriting it. The beam didn't explode, it erased. Wherever it touched, reality folded into silence. Alien fleets vanished like dust in a storm. Their plasma bolts turned into ash. Ships disappeared mid-flight. Planets cracked. Moons burned. Within minutes, the greatest armada in history was gone. The war ended before it began. The quiet. After the storm, when the light faded, only silence remained. The vanguard floated in the calm void, surrounded by glowing debris, fragments of empires that once ruled the stars. Sentinel's voice broke the stillness. All enemy signatures, gone. Rylan closed his eyes. How many? 2 million ships. 1 commander remains, Admiral Slith. The last Dominion ship floated crippled, its weapons gone. Slith's voice came through weakly. Why didn't you destroy us all? Rylan looked out the window, his voice cold but not cruel. Because humanity doesn't destroy for pleasure. We destroy for memory. He leaned closer to the console. Tell your council this, Earth lives. And if they ever reach for us again, there will be no galaxy left to bury them. The signal ended. The alien flagship drifted away into the dark, carrying the warning the galaxy would never forget. The human who didn't flinch. Sentinel's hologram appeared beside Rylan. Her voice was calm, proud, almost human. "Commander, Project Dawn is complete. The galaxy is silent." Rylan looked out at the stars, so calm, so endless. "Not silent," he said softly. Listening, the Vanguard slowly turned toward the distant stars where Earth once burned. The AI spoke again, gentle as a whisper. "Commander, do you wish to return home?" He smiled faintly. "Home isn't a place, Sentinel. It's a reminder." Outside, the 7 Terran warships began to fade, their hulls merging with light entering hyperspace. They disappeared one by one, leaving behind only an echo. Across the galaxy, every screen, every frequency, every world suddenly flickered with a final message from the humans. "We are the children of Earth. We don't bow. We don't break. We don't flinch." And then, silence. The stars kept burning, but nothing in the galaxy would ever burn as bright as the memory of that day. The day 2 million ships attacked, and 1 human didn't even blink.